Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom, I'm David Mencer, Israeli government spokesman. It's Tuesday, 25th of June, day 263 of the October 7th war. A short update from me and then to your questions. On the war aims, the Prime Minister said in the Knesset last night, you can see his speech on the Prime Minister's website, quote, we will not end the war until we return all of our hostages, 120 hostages, the living and the deceased. We are committed to the Israeli proposal, which President Biden has welcomed. Our position has not changed. Second, which does not contradict the first, we will not end the war until we eliminate Hamas and until we return the residents of the south and the north securely to their homes. And third, at any price and in any way, we will thwart Iran's intentions to destroy us, end quote. To our fallen soldiers, I unfortunately have the sad and tragic duty to share another IDF casualty. Since the outset of the war, IDF fatalities have unfortunately risen to 666. Sergeant Major Mohammed Al-Atrash was 39 years old and from the southern Bedouin community of Sawa. New intelligence last night confirmed that he fell in combat with Hamas terrorists on October 7th. He was then abducted by Hamas. He served as an IDF tracker, as so many Israeli Bedouin Arabs have done, so proudly done. He leaves behind his family and 13 children. His family have been deprived a funeral because his remains were cruelly abducted by Hamas. The Prime Minister last night paid a condolence visit to the family of soldier Omer Smadja of blessed memory, who we announced yesterday had fallen in combat in Gaza. The Prime Minister heard from Omer's parents of the special character of their eldest son. It's safe to say that all of Israel is in deep mourning for all of our lost soldiers. The more we read of their service, the deeper our loss and that of their families. Omer was a Magin David Adam, Israel's ambulance service volunteer. The Prime Minister said that our fallen are heroes and that Israel would win the campaign thanks to these heroes. May their memories be a blessing forever. Now an update from govt and their work coordinating aid into Gaza over the last 24 hours. 299 humanitarian aid trucks went into Gaza, 240 via Kerem Shalom, 12 via the maritime route J-Lots, 47 via the Erez West crossing. 1 tanker of fuel and 6 of gas for essential infrastructure also went in. In terms of aid collection, only 165 aid trucks were collected. 70 trucks were from collected from Erez, 95 from Kerem Shalom by the private sector, to the eternal shame of the hapless United Nations. 1,200 aid trucks still await collection from the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom. Non-UN actors are able to collect the aid, but the UN is incapable. So together with 6,500 pallets of aid from the J-Lots offloading area, a total of 1,500 truckloads of aid just languish in the sun. You can get more details from govt's website and their Twitter feed. So that's the end of our briefing today. I will now take your questions, which you should put in the chat in the usual way, together with your outlet. Thank you very much. First question from David Isaac from JNS. If moderate Arab states don't step up to help govern Gaza, will Israel consider taking full civil and military control of the Strip? Thank you very much for that question, David. The Prime Minister answered this question, I think, comprehensively in his Channel 14 interview the night before last. He said our preferred option is for there to be a civilian administration made up of Gazans who do not want the eradication of Israel. And we've already tried to do that with some of the clans. The Prime Minister shared some of the things which we tried to do with some of the clans in Gaza. But unfortunately, when Hamas got wind of it, they killed some of those clan members. So that's why it's so important that we destroy Hamas, so we can move on to the day after Hamas. Our objective is for there to be a civilian administration, but we are, yes, indeed, looking for partnership from moderate Arab states, and that would, I think, that's the Prime Minister's made clear that that would be the ideal way forward in terms of governing Gaza. You ask whether or not if that takes place. That's a hypothetical scenario, so I won't be commenting on that. Next question from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. I would like to return to the question I asked several days ago about whether Israel's considered a direct appeal to the citizens of Lebanon, as Prime Minister Netanyahu has appealed in the past to the people of Iran, as a statement of solidarity amongst ordinary people of the region who do not want war but want to live in peace. Thank you for that question, Joel. You know, on this question, look, long before any of us were here, I think it was King David, the psalmist, the king of Israel, who wrote, Ani shalom v'chi adaber hema lemilchama, which in English means, I'm for peace, but whenever I speak of peace, they come to wage war. So then as now, King David and the nation of Israel are pained by having to live amongst people on our borders who spurn our overtures for peace. Again and again, we have withdrawn from communities from Gaza and from Lebanon. You know, we've pulled back Israel's people out of Gaza. We moved Israel's border back to the blue line, to the centimetre, for peace with Lebanon. You know, Israel is a peace-loving nation, but whenever we do take these actions for peace, all the other nations seem to want is to continue this war. The ongoing dialogue is proceeding. All options are still on the table in terms of a diplomatic option. One way or another, whether it's through diplomacy, we're working extremely closely with our American partners to ensure that the aggression that we are receiving from Iran's proxy Hezbollah is being dealt with. We've made very clear about that fact. And thank you again for your suggestion about asking for a direct appeal to Lebanon. Next question from Fred Ager. Iraq is becoming an Iranian proxy. The 2003 Iraq war shifted power in Iran's favor. Iran has cultivated a Shia militia groups as loyal proxies in Iraq, posing a challenge to Iraq's sovereignty and US Saudi Arabia interests. How does Israel see such increasing presence of activities in Iran? Thank you for that question on Iran. Look, we are right now, Fred, fighting a very war for our existence, and it's a fight being conducted on 7 fronts. The attack against us, which is being led by Iran, and Iran, again, it openly seeks to destroy us. Look, Iran and its proxies have been scheming to do this for a long time now through missile attacks against Israel and invading our territory. The more we deepen the war in Gaza, the more we discover additional evidence of the scope of the multi-front campaign against us. But we're going to thwart this campaign. We will thwart it because Iran has completely misjudged us. And this answers your question directly. Iran did not take into account our strength, our capabilities, and our determination which is wall to wall here in Israel to defend ourselves and impose a destructive cost on all of the aggressors in this country, against this country. We are faced with a great deal of challenges, and we face difficult decisions, and they do indeed require sacrifice, courage, and internal unity. But we are up for this challenge. We are taking forward this challenge. We are defeating the Iranian proxies one by one. We've already made that clear, that we are close to defeating the Rafah brigade, Hamas's Rafah brigade in Rafah. We are taking them apart, their tunnels, we're taking them apart, their lifeline, the way that they smuggle their deadly armaments into Gaza, we're taking them apart. And with Iraq, with Lebanon, whether by diplomacy or whether by military means, we will defend our northern border and return our people home. So whether it's from any of the fronts, any of the 7 fronts which I talked about, this country will be defended, Fred. Another question from Jim Williams at Zenga. According to the World Kitchen, has stated that they are they're at fully max deliveries of aid with coordination with the IDF. Why can't the UN match out what and do the same as WCK, the World Central Kitchen? Thank you very much for that question, Jim. That's an excellent question, and a question which we should be put to UNRWA. So many people still think that UNRWA is part of the solution of aid distribution. It isn't. It is the cause. It is the cause, together with Hamas, of this war. We've laid out very, very directly why that is in these briefings, and I think the answer to your question is a lack of willingness from the United Nations. They would prefer to condemn Israel rather than genuinely support ordinary Gazans. I think that's become absolutely clear right now, and I think it's clear to Gazans as well. Any other questions? No, I think that was the last question. So with that, I will say thank you for joining us. And we will be back tomorrow with another briefing. And in the meantime, please do stay safe, and thank you for joining us. Thank you. Bye-bye.